Imagine paying your rent on time for 3 years straight, never causing trouble, only to have your landlord steal from you, threaten you, and even break into your home. That's exactly what happened to me. But I didn't just sit back and take it. I made sure he paid for everything, and trust me, this ending is going to feel good. If you've ever had a nightmare landlord or been treated unfairly by someone with power over you, hit that like button. Subscribe, because today's story is about standing up for yourself and getting the kind of justice that makes your soul breathe easier. I wish I could say I had a normal landlord-tenant relationship. Pay the rent, keep the place clean, everyone minds their business. But no, I got stuck with him. This man, let's call him Carl, was not just a bad landlord. He was a walking disaster in human form. He had this greasy, perpetual smirk on his face, like he was always one step away from scamming you. He smelled like cheap cologne and cigarettes, and whenever he came around, it felt like the air got heavier. The first red flag was when my dryer, yes, my dryer that I bought, suddenly disappeared from the shared basement. When I asked Carl about it, he shrugged, smirked, and said, "Carl, oh, you didn't really need it, did you? Besides, it's my property now. You left it in a common area." My jaw dropped. That was hundreds of dollars, just gone. But I was young, inexperienced, and didn't want trouble. I let it slide, big mistake. From there, it was like Carl could smell weakness. One day the plumbing backed up, nothing major, just normal wear and tear. The plumber said it was a simple fix. But Carl? He sent me the bill. Hundreds of dollars. When I pushed back, he sneered and said, "Carl, if you don't like it, you can always move out." I didn't have the savings to move yet, so I paid. It hurt, but it also lit a fire in me, and the harassment didn't stop. He started creeping around the house at weird hours. Once, I caught him jiggling my doorknob like he was trying to get in. My stomach dropped. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. Then there was the parking space drama. I'd been parking in the same spot for years with no issue. Suddenly Carl sends me a letter saying I have to pay an extra $150 a month for that privilege. When I lawyered up, he retaliated. He raised my rent notice after notice, and every time I fixed one problem, he found another. And let's be clear, this wasn't some luxury apartment. The plumbing was illegal, the porch was falling apart and unsafe, the ceiling paint peeled constantly, and the gas heater looked like something out of a 1950s horror movie. By year 3, I was exhausted. Living there was like living with a constant knot in my stomach. Then came the final insult. Carl decided to raise my rent $500 a month. When I read that notice, my hands were shaking. My stomach went cold, but not from fear this time. From anger. That was it. I wasn't just leaving, I was going to make sure he never did this to anyone else again. 4 days before my move-out date, I called the town building inspector. I unloaded everything, the porch. No permit, the plumbing. Illegal, the gas heater. A ticking time bomb. That I gave him a list so long I had to take a breath halfway through. The very next day, I watched from my window as the inspector walked the property with a clipboard, tape measure in hand. He spent over an hour taking notes. That I smiled for the first time in weeks. See, every single violation was a $500 per day fine until fixed. And there were many violations that I don't know what happened after that visit, but I do know that Carl was suddenly very busy for the next few days. But Carl wasn't done trying to control me. A week before my move out, he sent me a text telling me I had to be out by a specific hour or he'd call the police. That was not how the law worked, so instead of panicking, I walked into the police station myself and explained everything. The officer nodded and told me, "Officer, if he bothers you, just call us. You're in the right." Sure enough, moving day came, and Carl showed up pounding on my door, yelling, demanding I leave. I called the police, and they shut him down right there in front of me. I thought that was the end of it, but when I left to drop off a load at storage, Carl broke into my apartment. When I came back, he had literally nailed my door shut. My blood ran cold. I called the police again, but this time I asked for the supervisor. I was done being intimidated, and wouldn't you know it, Carl disappeared before they arrived. Almost like he knew he'd be arrested if he stuck around. I filed a police report that day. And when I got the call back, Carl was being charged with a felony for breaking and entering. Let me say that again, this man, who had stolen from me, threatened me, harassed me, and tried to control me for 3 years, was now facing a felony charge and daily fines that I packed the rest of my things with the biggest smile on my face. For once, I wasn't the powerless tenant. For once, he was the one on the run. That day, I learned something important. Standing up for yourself might be terrifying, but it is always worth it. And when justice finally lands on the people who made your life miserable, that feeling is priceless. If this story gave you that sweet rush of justice, don't just stop here. Smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss another revenge story. And if you want more drama and an even bigger public takedown, check out my other video. My ex's parents tried to ruin my daughters, so I exposed them in front of their whole church. Trust me, that one is pure fireworks. Click it now, you won't regret it.